Now at 9, Morris Park in Neosho hosts its 9th annual Easter Egg Extravaganza. Plus, how Pitt State students are helping train dogs at the SCK Humane Society, and
family members of Israeli soldiers held hostage in Gaza say their loved ones have been abandoned and are demanding action. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Hundreds of people gathered in Neosho today to celebrate Easter together. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Anthony Saviello. KOAM Samantha Walker has more on what had families so excited.
Morris Park in Neosho was filled with families ready to celebrate Easter at the 9th annual Extravaganza. The event is a partnership between several local churches and the city of Neosho.
We had a great turnout last year of like 750 children plus their families. Lots and lots of activities. It's like a mini festival.
Organizers say the Extravaganza is something people in the community look forward to every year. With more than 120 volunteers, they try to have a variety of activities to appeal to children of all ages.
There's 16 exhibitors with all kinds of snacks and goodies and everything for the families to enjoy. We have the law enforcement and safety here for the children to break down barriers and explore. We have puppets, we have drama presentations. It's just a full day of everything.
Kids at the Extravaganza were able to hawk to different stations, including games, an egg hunt, and even meeting the Easter Bunny.
So we're having Easter, picking out eggs, and there's lots of things we could do. Get plushies, win games, lots of things.
He says he likes how the event brings people together.
Because they can spend some time with friends and family too.
Organizers say the event, which featured more than 8,000 eggs, was made possible from donations from Neosho Walmart and Opal Foods.
This just shows the value that we all place on our community and that we take care of each other, we take care of our children, we invest in our children, and we just love our Neosho. We love it.
They did a very great job. A very great job.
Reporting in Neosho, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Tune in tomorrow where we'll feature a look at the 4 states' very own Easter Bunny. Pittsburgh High School students were able to spread some Easter spirit today. The high school partnered up with New Hope and Pittsburgh area young professionals to stuff Easter eggs for the community. Together, they were able to stuff 18,000 eggs for today's egg hunt. The hunt also included a special appearance from the Easter Bunny.
My favorite part is seeing the kids pick the eggs up and their smiles. Going through that 2 months of stuffing 18,000 eggs, getting all the candy, getting everything organized, and then seeing them just smile and light up, it's wonderful.
Probably finding all the Easter eggs. Krabby Patty gummies.
The event also included 25 golden eggs that, if found, they would receive a new bike. Easter is usually considered the most important religious date for Christians on the calendar to mark the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Most businesses will be closed for the observance, but many will still keep business hours. If you need Easter bonnets or candy, Walmart, CVS, pharmacies, Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's will be open, but check your local store to see if they have modified hours. But no Lucky Rabbit's Foot for you at Target, Macy's, TJ Maxx, Kohl's. Those stores will all be closed. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us for a first look at our weather.
All right, temperatures are starting to dip down into the 60s across the region, but winds have calmed down tremendously. We're seeing light and variable winds across the region. It is still pretty cloudy in the area, and temperatures are starting to cool off. We're going to get down to the lower 50s for an overnight low tonight. We may see a couple of showers later on tonight after 10 p.m. and towards about midnight, but it's still just a light possibility, may not happen. We do have some clouds in the region, but our main threat of severe weather will be coming in on Monday. However, we do still have a low risk for storms tomorrow, but an enhanced risk for storms on Monday, and I'll have all those details for you up next.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. This month, a man pleaded guilty to a cold case murder from 26 years ago. Investigators solved the case with the help of the killer's estranged husband. In 1998, the killer Timothy Stephenson met a man named Randall Oliphant at a bar, took Oliphant back to his Kansas City, Missouri home and shot him twice. In 2014, Stevenson told all this to his husband, Joseph Ginecco, who he married in 2008. In 2020, Ginecco filed for divorce. At some point, he told police about Stevenson's confession. Investigators then staged an undercover operation, recording a meeting between the two men. They later arrested Stevenson for murder and extradited him to Missouri. Some Pitt State graduate students spent their Saturday with dogs from the SEK Humane Society. The students helped train the dogs in hopes they will get adopted. So far, the students have worked with more than 15 dogs since January.
I know a lot of people, they'll see like an older dog and they'll think, oh, you can't train that dog, but we'll have like dogs over a year old be trained here and we see progress with that. So I say like any dog can be trained no matter the age. It's really nice.
The students are part of PSU's psychology department. The WH Farm Cafe today held its annual craft show in Granby, Missouri. The event featured handcrafted pieces as well as various boutiques throughout the community. Some of the pieces included rings, leather bags, and laser engraved wooden signs.
It represents a wholesome feeling that's missing in America, where we just need to come together and just have a good family time, good friends in the community, get to know your community.
Today's show began at 9 a.m. and wrapped up around 4 this afternoon. Coming up, despite ongoing conflict, Christian Mass is still being held in Jerusalem. Talks between the U.S. and Israel on what steps are next in the war in Gaza resumed. The White House says both sides are still looking for a convenient date to meet after a canceled meeting this past week. It comes as the International Court of Justice demanded Israel improve the humanitarian situation on the ground in Gaza. Fox News correspondent Caroline Shively reports from Washington.
The United Nations top court ordered Israel to allow more aid into Gaza on Thursday.
There is nothing in Gaza City, none of life's basics. There are no vegetables, fruits, meat, nothing for anyone to eat.
It's clear that more aid needs to be getting in, which is why, again, USAID, State Department, DOD working with the international community to do that.
As airstrikes and the ground war rages on. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office has agreed to reschedule a D.C. visit by an Israeli delegation to discuss a planned ground invasion of Rafah in southern Gaza. Israel had canceled the meeting after the U.S. did not block a UN Security Council vote on a ceasefire resolution.
They're on the cusp of winning. They need to go into Rafah and get it done. They need to do it as quickly as possible, and we should do everything we can to help them do that, not put constraints on them and embarrass them on the world stage.
Meanwhile, families of Israeli soldiers still held hostage in Gaza protested outside a military recruiting center ahead of a meeting with Netanyahu, saying the prime minister had abandoned their loved ones. About 100 hostages are believed to still be in captivity.
It's been too long, and I need my brother back.
A Gallup poll released this week finds 55% of Americans disapprove of Israel's war in Gaza, up from 45% in November, a month after the Hamas attack. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
A ship with 240 tons of canned food destined for Gaza has been sent outside a port in Cyprus Saturday. The World Central Kitchen says the ship was set to depart following the new Cyprus-Gaza sea route. International leaders have pushed for the maritime aid route to ease the food crisis in Gaza. The UN top court ordered Israel this week to open more land crossing to allow aid into the country. Christians gather for the Holy Saturday Mass in Jerusalem at a site believed to be where Jesus was crucified and buried. Worshippers attended the Church of the Holy Sepulchre as a part of an Easter liturgy. The Archbishop led the Mass, lighting incense and candles as the congregation sang. The auspicious week includes Good Friday, which is the reenactment of Jesus' crucifixion and death, and Easter Sunday, which is his resurrection. Lindsay is next with a full look at your forecast, and later, trouble for the world's biggest EV manufacturer.
We do have some severe weather coming up in the next couple of days. Tonight we may see a shower or two, but nothing too bad. We're still having some overcast conditions, and you can see from our Cornell Complex camera downtown Joplin, winds have lightened up significantly, pretty light and variable winds across the region, and clouds are going to start to clear out a little bit later on tonight, and we will have some showers in the area Sunday morning, so can still expect to see some showers, pretty light though, nothing too severe. Our main threat will be coming in late Sunday into Monday morning. This low pressure system still off the coast of California is going to be making its way into our area, bringing us some pretty severe weather. We'll have more details on that in just a minute. We're going to have winds start to pick up Sunday morning ahead of this low pressure system. You'll see gusts upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour. And then as we get a little bit later into the afternoon, we'll see gusts possibly getting up to about 40 miles per hour. That's going to stick around, pretty fast winds all the way until this system makes its way through our region. We're going to take a look at that. We could see some showers tonight, mostly in our eastern counties. However, they're going to be pretty light and brief. As we move into Sunday morning, we see showers start to develop up in Kansas City. However, in our area, we just get a little clip of that in some of our northern counties. Again, pretty light and brief. We don't see anything else in the area until Monday morning. However, the atmosphere is still pretty unstable on Sunday, so there is a potential that we could see some of these storms spark up, which is why we have a low risk for storms possible on Sunday. Now on Monday we have an enhanced risk because the severity of the storms that are coming in on Monday are pretty extreme, and we're going to take a closer look at that. Starting Monday morning around 7 to 8 a.m. we'll start to see some of these thunderstorms pop up. Isolated thunderstorms at first, just making their way through our southern counties. And then we're going to have these lines of convective systems. These are pretty slow moving, and the main threat with these are going to be heavy rainfall. So we're going to have some flooding associated with these storms. They're coming in around 4 in the afternoon and continuing on for the next couple of hours. After that, we'll see a cold front start to make its way in, and along the cold front, these pretty severe thunderstorms start to develop. And with this system, that's when we're going to experience possible hail, heavy wind, heavy rain, fast winds, and we can't rule out a tornado possible in the area. Now, after midnight, we'll still have some thunderstorms and showers, but nothing as severe as what we're going to see from 7 p.m. to about midnight on Monday. Then it'll clear out, and we're going to have pretty nice days ahead after that. So with this enhanced risk, most of the region is in the enhanced risk, and we have main threats being heavy rain and fast winds, although, like I said, can't rule out a tornado possible, so it is an alert day. Showers clear out pretty early Tuesday, and then we're going to have sunny skies, pretty cool for a minute, but we'll start to warm back up into the 70s, and the next chance of rain being on Sunday.
Thank you, Lindsay. And speaking of alert days, don't forget you can be the first to know about those days and the day's weather with our KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up, Fox on Games.
A Super Mario-sized controversy is rocking the gaming world. I'm Eamon Dignam in New York. I've got the details coming up.
The world's largest electric car maker is hitting some speed bumps in forecasted car sales. Private banking firm Wedbush Securities says delivery estimates of Tesla vehicles have fallen in 2024. The firm says China's rising competition in the EV market, along with slowed down EV growth and a possible price war among electric vehicles, could hurt Tesla. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has cut prices since 2022 in a high interest rate market, impacting profits. The Houthi rebel attacks have rerouted car shipping, causing cuts in overseas production. The Federal Reserve's recent report shows that inflation ticked higher in February, crushing some of the recent progress in earlier months. According to the data released Friday, customers' expenses was up 2.5%. However, Fed officials say that was what they expected. Despite the drastic increase, the report also found that inflation, although surging, is doing so at a slower pace. Chocolate is one of those things feeling the impact of inflation. The global price for cocoa continues to soar as a result of rough weather in West Africa and inflation. Top growers in Ghana and the Ivory Coast are facing tough harvests this season. These two regions account for more than 60% of the world's global supply of cocoa. It is a trickling down to everyday consumers on the hunt for colorful and decorated Easter baskets. The National Retail Federation predicts Americans will spend around $3 billion on candy this holiday. A Super Mario-sized controversy is breaking out in the gaming world over allegations of cheating on fan-created levels of the beloved game. Fox's Eamon Dignam has more on this edition of Fox on Games.
Super Mario Maker is a popular game that allows players to make their own level, but the servers on the Wii U are shutting down for good next month. A gaming group called Team 0% was trying to beat all the levels, and they came close, but they initially stalled out on trimming the herbs, the final level that they hadn't beaten yet. That one-screen world, known as a Kaizo, required extremely accurate gameplay and was apparently only beaten once by its creator, Ahoyo. But now it turns out Ahoyo's win was a hoax. He's admitted using a computer-assisted tool known as a taskbot to write the level and autoplay it perfectly. The game requires creators to beat the level before unleashing them on the masses to avoid having unbeatable levels in the rotation. Ahoyo has since apologized for the drama that his upload caused. Some creators and players really angry, accusing him of cheating, but some are praising the move, saying it brought attention to the community and they'll still be trying to beat the level before it goes away. And while Team 0% initially came up short, they announced the level was finally beaten by a player named Yamada. Check out this story and more every weekend on the Fox on Tech, Fox on Games podcast. In New York, Eamon Dignam, Fox News.
Up next, Vietnam veterans in Colorado receive a long overdue recognition. A ceremony is held in Colorado for Vietnam Veterans Friday. The military nonprofit who organized the event says it's past time to give them the hero's welcome they deserve. Fox's Jeremy Hubbard has that story.
Our community failed them almost 50 years ago when they came home.
A half century after they served their country in Vietnam, these veterans gathering in Firestone to hear the words they likely did not hear back then. Welcome home. Fully aware of the tough transition so many Vietnam veterans experienced after the war, a group of nonprofits and American Legion Post 1985 wanted to send a message today.
Our community failed them almost 50 years ago when they came home. Part of the work is apologizing. We didn't do a good job of welcoming people home.
Welcome home. Among the Vietnam veterans awarded lapel pins, Cynthia Sherman.
When I got out, you didn't dare admit that you were in the military. About 2007 was the first time I was ever thanked for my service.
Also honored today, Dave Appel, who served in the Marines in Vietnam.
As time goes on, you want to realize that your sacrifice meant something to somebody.
Most Vietnam veterans are now in their 70s. There are about 800,000 of them still alive today, but they're dying at a rate of about 500 per day, according to the Army. It's exactly why they've held this event for the last 3 years, and it's why they say we should all express gratitude while we can.
Take a chance. You might feel awkward, but say welcome home. The best thing that can happen is that somebody will feel seen and will feel honored because you welcomed them home.
30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way.
A political fight looms about rebuilding the bridge in Baltimore. I'm Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. More on that story coming up.
President Joe Biden says last night's fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall brought in more money than any Democratic event in history. Friday, he spoke to supporters about the enthusiasm and unity within the party. He also claimed he is leading in several national polls. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith is at the White House with more.
President Biden bid goodbye to New York after adding a lot of money, more than $26 million to his campaign coffers, more money than former President Trump raised in all of February. Viva, viva Palestina! But the Biden-Harris campaign still has problems winning over some Democrats, like those furious over America's continued diplomatic and military support for Israel.
Shame on you, Joe Biden! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Last night, President Biden, who was sharing a stage with former Presidents Clinton and Obama, was heckled by pro-Palestinian protesters. Now the Biden campaign is seeking support from an unlikely group, Republicans, especially those not excited about another Trump term.
She is not presidential timber.
In a new ad set to air in battleground states, Biden urges Nikki Haley supporters to back his campaign in an effort, they say, to, quote, save America. Polls show Americans overall are not happy with the president's performance on key issues, including immigration, inflation, and the economy.
The labor market is strong right now, and inflation has been coming down.
Today, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said new government data shows inflation is still a concern, but in line with his expectations. The Personal Consumption Expenditures report shows prices climbed 2.5% last month, a half percentage point higher than the Feds want. Powell says the data makes it tough to predict if and when interest rates may be lowered.
We can and we will be careful about this decision because we can be.
The White House celebrating today's economic news, calling it, quote, real progress. One place where Americans may still feel the impacts of inflation is at the gas pump. Prices up double digits from the start of this year. As for President Biden, he's expected to stay out of the limelight this weekend. He's spending his Easter holiday at Camp David. At the White House, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
During President Biden's visit to New York, pro-Palestinian demonstrators protesting President Biden's New York City fundraiser. Crowds chanting against the presidential visit. Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton also in attendance at Biden's fundraiser. The protesters showing their anger towards the president for his support for Israel in its battle against Hamas in Gaza. There will likely be a push for Congress to pay for part or all of a new Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram reports.
There's an immediate demand to rebuild the bridge. The city of Baltimore, the East Coast, and the American economy demand it.
This is not just going to impact Maryland. This is impacting the farmer in Kentucky. It's impacting the auto dealer in Michigan.
The president promises help.
It's my intention that federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge. And I expect the Congress to support my effort.
But no one knows how long this will take.
It's a heavy lift. It's going to take some time.
That bridge took 5 years to build. We don't yet have an estimate on how long it'll take to rebuild.
In 2007, the I-35 West Bridge in Minneapolis plunged into the Mississippi River, killing 13 people and injuring 145. Congress responded at breakneck speed.
H.R. 3311, a bill to authorize additional funds for emergency repairs and reconstruction of the interstate I-35 bridge located in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that collapsed on August 1st, 2007.
The House voted 421-0 just days after the collapse, greenlighting $250 million for a new bridge. The Senate okayed the bill unanimously.
I think everyone in this chamber and the country and the world is aware of the tragedy that befell our state.
The new bridge opened an astonishing 13 months after the collapse. Today, lawmakers hope they can replicate that speed to reconstruct the Baltimore Bridge. GOP Maryland Representative Andy Harris cited Minnesota, demanding the government sideline environmental and regulatory burdens to accelerate this rebuild. But we're in a different political climate today than 2007. Money for the bridge would be an extra appropriation. Congress struggled just to avoid a government shutdown. That means money for a new bridge could be a political fight. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
A floating crane used for lifting heavy loads arrives at the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. The crane will be used to assist the hauling away of the broken steel and concrete from the site. An estimated 4,000 tons of broken pieces and steel need to be cleaned up. 7 floating cranes, 10 tugboats, 5 Coast Guard boats, and other heavy-duty machinery are already on site. Still ahead, a preview into the iHeartRadio Music Awards.
We do have a possible chance of showers tonight, but we're tracking a pretty severe weather system that'll be making its way into our area on Monday. Right now, still kind of cloudy out there, but winds have died down a lot. From Cornell Complex camera, a nice shot of downtown Joplin. You can see still cloudy, but like I said, winds have died down a lot. We may see a couple of showers here and there tonight. However, our main threat of severe weather that we're expecting won't be coming in until late Sunday into Monday morning, and that is this low pressure system still off the coast of California, and it's bringing some pretty heavy rain, fast winds, and hail, possible tornado as well. Winds do start to pick up ahead of this system though. Around 8 a.m. on Sunday, we're going to see gusts upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour. Continuing on to about noon, we'll see these pick up to about 40 miles per hour. Throughout the day, winds are going to be pretty fast. We're not really expecting any kind of severe weather until late on Sunday. However, we could see a shower or two in some of our northern counties early on Sunday. We'll see they start developing Kansas City at 8 a.m. and then they'll start to clip our northern counties at around 11 a.m. But there'll be brief and pretty light showers quickly making its way off to the east, with our next chance of weather coming in early on Monday. So we do have a low risk for storms possible just due to stability. It's going to be pretty unstable in the atmosphere starting on Sunday. However, we have an enhanced risk for severe weather on Monday because that's where our main threat of severe weather is going to be. We're going to take a closer look at that. Starting around 7 to 8 a.m., we're already going to see some isolated thunderstorms, mostly in our southeastern counties, making their way off just south of Joplin. And then as we get to a little bit later in the day, around 4 to 5 p.m., we'll see these lines of convective systems. And these systems bring heavy rainfall and they're kind of slow moving. So it's going to be, main threat with this will be flooding across the region since they are slow moving and heavier rainfall. After that passes, we're going to see a cold front start to make its way through. And along this cold front, we'll see these thunderstorms develop. And these are going to be where our main threat of severe weather will be, where we're having possible hail, fast winds, heavy rain still, and we can't rule out a tornado associated with that. It'll move its off to the east right around midnight, and then starting around 2 a.m. we'll see another patch of rainfall coming in. Now, atmosphere already had some heavy storms, so these won't be as severe, but we will still have some thunder and rain in the area until about 10 a.m. on Tuesday. So we do have a enhanced risk, and that is due to possible tornado, hail, fast winds, and heavy rainfall, main threat being from 5 p.m. to about midnight. So we do have an alert day, and showers continue until Tuesday around 10 a.m. Temperatures cool off for the next couple of days, but they'll start to warm up by the weekend, and we've got our next chance of rain coming in on Sunday.
Make sure you're staying safe on Monday for sure.
Definitely want to prepare for that.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Lindsay. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, the Kansas City Royals are still searching for their first win of the season. Plus, Missouri Southern softball wraps up their final series of the weekend. We'll have more highlights and more up next.
Missouri Southern softball has dealt with the highs and the lows this season, but the Lions are currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they look to complete the weekend with another sweep. Missouri Southern looking to stay hot as the Lions are home facing the Nebraska Kearney Lopers. Bottom of the first, Katie Gray gets things started as she slices one into the gap. That ball lands out there at the fence. A couple runs coming to score, and Missouri Southern takes a 2-0 lead. Next batter to the plate, Abby DeSanto beats out the grounder, hit the short. She will be safe, but check this out. The awareness by Katie Gray, who's safe at home plate, and the Lions lead 3-0. We go to the bottom of the second now. Lions looking to add on more runs as Yasmin Vargas comes up with the bases loaded. 1 run comes in to score, 2 runs come in to score, 3 runs come in to score, and it's a bases clearing triple for Vargas. Later that inning, Abby DeSanto at the plate belts one high and deep to left field, and see you later. It's a 2-run home run. Missouri Southern goes on to win this game 14-0 in 5 innings. So we go to game 2 of the doubleheader. Bottom of the first, it's 1-0 Southern as Kara Amos with a swing and a drive clear the deck. Solo bomb coming in to make it a 2-0 Lions lead. We head to the 3rd inning now. Yasmin Vargas hits one just over the first baseman's glove. RBI single, and the Lions now make it a 3-0 game. We jump ahead to the 5th inning now. It's 4-0 Southern. Katie Gray keeps this ball fair down the left field line. 2 runs coming to score. It's an RBI double, and Gray had 6 RBIs in the day for both of her games. So next batter to the plate, it's Abby DeSanto. She hits one over the outfielder's head. Katie Gray comes in to score. And how about Missouri Southern? The Lions sweep both of their opponents this weekend. Missouri Southern wins Game 2, 8-0. Well, across the state line in Pittsburgh, the Pitt State Gorillas are home facing the Fort Hays State Tigers for a doubleheader. The Gorillas take care of business. Pitt State wins Game 1, 8-0. Then PSU completes the sweep by winning Game 2, 4-1. Next Saturday, Pitt State faces Missouri Southern at home. Should be an outstanding series. On the baseball side of things, Pitt State's on the road facing Northeastern State. The Gorillas lose another tough game in the hands of the Riverhawks. 10-8 the final score in that one. Then over in Maryville, Missouri, where the Missouri Southern Lions face Northwest Missouri State. Very unusual weekend for MSSU as Northwest wins the series finale 12-5. And the Bearcats clinch the series this weekend. Southern is back home next weekend looking to redeem themselves against Central Oklahoma. Well, the Kansas City Royals lose their opening day game in a low-scoring battle with the Minnesota Twins. Now, last year, the Royals got swept by the Twins in the opening series, so this year, they look to reverse their fortunes. Out at Kauffman Stadium, the Royals versus the Twins in the 6th inning. MJ Melendez hits this into center field. Bobby Witt Jr. comes in to score. Royals lead it 1-0. We go to the 8th inning now. Same score. Byron Buxton hits a chopper over Michael Garcia's head. Buxton hustles up to second base for an RBI double. Minnesota ties the game at 1. We stay tied going into the 9th inning. Kristen Vasquez up at the plate. Runners on base and singles into left field. MJ Melendez throws a wild throw to home plate. Everyone advances. Twins make it a 2-1 lead. Next batter at the plate, a few batters later I should say, Byron Buxton makes it hurt again as he hits this one down the left field line. 2 runs coming to score, and Minnesota beats Kansas City 5-1. Well, there's your look for sports. We're back to more news after this.
The 12th annual star-studded iHeartRadio Music Awards airs live from the Los Angeles Dolby Theater April 1st on Fox. We have a preview of the big night with the show's host, Ludacris. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
This is incredible. It's time for the iHeartRadio Music Awards, celebrating the most played artists and songs on iHeart's radio stations and app from last year, and previewing tunes of 2024. Taylor Swift leads the way with 9 nominations. Beyoncé will receive the Innovator Award, and the Icon recipient is Cher. Performers include Justin Timberlake, Green Day, TLC, Jelly Roll, Lainey Wilson, Tate McRae, and the night's host, Ludacris.
I want all the fan favorites to show up and show out. And I just want everybody to have a good time. You know, this is my first time hosting the iHeart Radio Awards. And I'm excited to see a lot of the individuals. And I can't wait to just see everyone kind of co-mingling backstage. That's really where the magic is at.
Does it differ for you at all when you're performing and the audience is full of friends and fellow artists?
You know, that's crazy that you say that. It is dope. But I think coming off of this Super Bowl performance, it makes it even better because I don't know, that's a huge audience, but this right here is like you're amongst your peers. So it is a little bit different.
And you started in radio. So can you tell me about the first time you heard your music on the radio, how you made that happen, and kind of what you took from that?
Yeah, I remember being on the radio station and my competitor played my actual song. That's when I knew I made it, because you're not supposed to do that in radio. Like the people that's on the same time slot as you. And then from there on out, I was like, finally, after all these years, it's paid off. And I knew that we were on to making greatness in history.
Thank you, iHeart. The iHeartRadio Music Awards air live April 1st on Fox. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Up next, how you can get your pet's face on a beer can. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. There's an interesting contest in Kansas that brings together beer, pets, and art. And the effort is all for charity. Alan Shope reports.
We always really like the ones where people try to recreate our logo.
There's a reason the Lawrence Beer Company uses this cute little pup in their marketing campaign.
We love to use that to kind of champion any causes we believe in.
And Matt says one of those causes, Lawrence Humane Society.
There's not a better group to be associated with.
So when the shelter approached them about putting dogs and cats on beer cans, they were all in.
And what goes better than beer and dogs together, right?
The shelter is starting a contest for the month of March. Folks can submit pictures of their animals and people can vote on them. The ones with the most amount of votes end up here.
Winning dog and the winning cat get to be on the crowlers for Lawrence Beer Company all summer long.
It's called the Cutest Crowler Contest. The goal, raise money for the animals at the shelter, and it's been pretty popular.
We could not do half of what we do without all of our supporters.
A local Lawrence artist takes the winning photo and makes it into art for the beer can.
It's not too late to enter. It's not too late to vote for your favorites.
Lawrence Humane says it's the third year of the contest that raised more than $30,000 last year.
Also, the winners get a framed portrait of their pet by that artist.
And that's something to cheers to.
The contest ends Sunday at midnight. The Lawrence Humane Society suggests going to their Facebook or Instagram pages to find all the links to the contest. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll leave you with a video of a calm erupting volcano in Iceland joined by the Northern Lights. From all of us here at KOAM, have a great night.